All right. Monday, March 14, 2016, meeting of the Scituate Board of Health in the Selectmen's Chambers, Town Hall, 6 p.m. I will take a motion to open meeting and accept the agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda of Monday, March 14, 2016.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, first up on our agenda, discuss/vote addition of walk-in humidor at Hennessy News.
I'm Diane, and this is Jason.
Diane and Jason, beautiful, just state your names and everything so we can have that on record.
Diane Pelletieri.
Jason McGee.
And from what I understand, you're going to build a walk-in humidor, small?
Yes, 8 by 8.
8 by 8?
Yes.
Okay. And you've read all the regulations and so on and so forth, because you already sell cigars and cigarettes and
Yes.
so on and so forth. So, do you have any issues with it, or?
Nope, so I visited the establishment on Friday afternoon to take a look at the space that they're proposing to transform into humidor. Our regulations clearly indicate that humidor needs to be locked. And they had provided to me by email their mechanisms, which are in your packets, mechanisms by which they intend to provide security and, again, engage in checking for proper identification, age-related. So the only question that I had two questions, actually. The first question is, so I understand where you're going to put the humidor, and I know you understand that there's a possibility you should go to the building department for any permits, if you're changing the structure. But how do you actually intend to turn the space into a humidor? How do you intend to?
Well, there's relative humidity requirements, correct?
Yes, you have to have a machine, a humidor machine set up in it to keep the air ventilated and going for it all the time.
Okay, so that would
In
be,
the light.
okay, so it'd be inside and monitored.
Right,
that-
and it's temperature controlled.
So 8 by 8, that's a good size. You're going to stock a lot of cigars there compared to the one, say, that's up at Curtis Liquors. Because that one's fairly small. 8 by 8's a good size room to monitor to make sure. How are you going to, and you walk in, it's going to be the Railer store?
It's in the rear corner of the store,
Where the
yes.
Keno-
We switched the store around, so I don't know if you've been in.
I have not recently.
All right.
So where the Keno was.
So with the Keno, this counter is when you walk in the door now, and then there's the Keno area, and across from that, it's right across from the counter, diagonally, it's going to be in that back corner, and there's going to be glass on the front of it. And we're going to give the customer a key to go in, so we'll know how old they are. You have to be with a key to get in and out of it.
So you'll ID the person if they looked underage and give them a key to go purchase
Yes,
whatever they're going
so they have to come to us to make sure it's okay to go into it.
to. Okay.
And it's going to be, since I was there, it looks as though it's going to be within sight, direct eyesight, the front door
Correct.
of it within eyesight of
Yes.
the counter where the staff works.
Yeah.
So basically where the new counter is, I've been in there,
Yeah.
and then the old Keno room was. So it's gonna be straight.
It's not going to be,
back
it's going to be
down.
straight back in the corner, straight
Right,
from the
Like where
counter.
you went to go to the back of the room?
Yeah, you go past the Keno Lounge.
Okay.
And it's
so
on your,
that-
it's on your,
Yeah,
straight
cards
down to
there,
the
right?
right.
Yeah, the cards were there before,
Okay.
yes. No, there's nothing really there now.
Just got one little thing. Is that clock going to be like a double deadbolt clock so the key works from both sides?
I guess it
I just asked for the safest thing possible. I hate to see someone get locked in.
sure. No, that's fine.
We are on the Board of Health, so we
It's funny, with real estate and houses, there's deadbolts you can have as a private owner in your house, and then if you rent it, you have to have a different kind of deadbolt.
Oh, really?
That's the double key. Or no, you can't have a key on the other side. If you do, you gotta leave the key in it.
If there's a certain kind of lock that you want us to use, we'll use it.
Yeah, I just a suggestion. I
Oh.
hate to see someone get locked in there or something. I don't know, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Well, that might be.
Well, it's going to be all glass doors in the front, too.
Yeah,
That you'd see right in.
All right, now another question.
And cameras.
You importing from Cuba yet?
Not yet.
Monte Cristo? Just asking.
No.
Other than that, I don't see a problem with it, unless they see a problem with it. It's not votable, correct?
No,
Are we-
it's not a change in their business, it's not a change in really
Right.
the products that you intend sell.
And you know,
there's a
and you,
tobacco permit.
obviously you've been in the hearing to the tobacco regulations anyway, so this is just another extension of what you'd be doing anyway, so.
Correct.
Yeah. The only other thing to make you aware of is that if in fact you intend to change any of the signage outside to advertise that you're, creating this and providing a new location, new service, is that you may have to talk to planning board. So I just wanted to let you know, any outside signage has to go to planning board for at least review.
Okay.
Just to keep that in mind, so as you go along the path of
Appreciate
actually
it.
doing this, there aren't any surprises.
I have one question, and I don't know if this has already been answered, but if I'm 21 and I go in there, but I have my little brother with me.
You can't.
You
No,
can't.
no children, no
Okay.
children.
We just,
Yeah.
it's in there, it says no
Okay.
children.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, that might be something you might want to pay attention to, if somebody brings their little kids in and then they go inside and spend.
The people that work there will know that they can't.
Right, well, I mean,
Yeah,
little kids
I
will
know.
be standing out outside.
Yeah.
No,
Other than that, I don't have any issues with it, I wish you a lot of luck with it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I think it's a good
Appreciate
idea.
it.
It'd be quite an
Thank you.
investment, so
Yeah.
yeah, good luck with
Yeah,
it.
Thank you
good
very
luck
much.
with it, I'm sure it's a lot of inventory you're gonna have to stock now and so on and so forth, and it's a good idea, good addition for people who smoke cigars. Good luck with it.
And any questions along the way, just come in. or-
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you for your
No
time.
problem.
Bye.
Thank you.
Of course.
So I'm going to, do you have an agenda with you? Do either of you have the agenda? So I'm just going to switch this up for a second. I'm going to go to item number 3 first, which is discuss vote fog regulations variance request for Ronnie Stone General Store. And that would be you guys. And if you could come up here and at least sit in that front row, so state your name and record for the address. Just name and address, that's fine.
How you doing tonight? Excellent, excellent.
So. Ronnie Stone General Store. All right, so you're requesting a variance for a grease trap for the small amount of prepared foods that you do sell there, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this one of the places that's on private?
It's on sewer.
Oh, it is on.
It is on sewer, yeah.
Have we ever had any problems up in that area?
We have not. I
No
checked.
complaints, no nothing.
Nope, so well, I'll fill you in on what I've done after today's.
Hot dogs are the only grease-producing things, correct?
Hmm?
Hot dogs are the only grease-producing
Yes.
items
Yes,
that you
that's
sell?
one.
We don't have any other item.
So all the sandwiches and everything are all
Yes.
pre-made sandwiches?
Yeah,
and-
they're all cold cut sandwiches, we don't
Okay,
produce any grease.
okay, okay. Russell?
No, I see it, my only questions with it, Jen, just in regards to the town.
Yeah.
and,
So-
Right.
So before I can answer you, I have a question for these folks. The one question I have is whether your hot dog machine is cleaned by placing it in the sink for cleaning, or if it is a non-submersible machine where
No.
you have to do the cleaning outside while it's on the countertop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
first
it's on the
we wipe
countertop,
it with
out-
the paper
outside.
towel outside and then we wash with the stop water.
It's an electric machine, roller blade, so we
Right.
can
You
submerge.
can't submerge it,
Right.
okay, so,
Right.
so you clean and sanitize it in place on the.
And just
Yeah.
wipe it down.
Yeah,
Okay.
Did you get a background to why we are doing this fats, oil, and greases? You did, it's all been
Yeah.
explained to you. We had other problems in town.
yeah.
Oh,
That's-
With other bigger
that's-
places, so it's
Yeah.
not anybody singled out or any particular business, it's the whole everybody, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you for coming in, I just wanted to make that clear, because
yeah.
Yeah, so,
Because
so.
it's been an ongoing.
Yeah, we're not, right, and it's not singling anybody out. it's
We did
just- we-
get a quote for 2 different plumber. We wanted to be getting compliance with that, but they're charging us like 4,000 and which is a little bit high.
Let me ask you another question. The place on Hadley has one, and you guys were going to check to see if it was working, is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
Did you
We
get
are-
a chance
yeah.
to do that?
Yeah, we're
Because
planning
it,
on.
it has already on it, so we are going to have plumber checking it. like-
Okay, okay.
And with that said, I mean, I don't know, but, you know, I'm sure if the menu changes or something happens, and, because this is in place to stop that from damaging the infrastructure of the town.
Oh.
I mean, I don't see any issue with what they got, but it's what you got, and if something goes further, then we'd have to relook at it.
Yeah, sure.
You might have to make that $4,000 or $5,000 investment.
Yeah.
we-
Just if we grant the variance tonight, that doesn't mean you're off the hook forever, it's.
Yeah, we understand.
Yeah, so
It's open
if
up
we,
restaurant.
And,
Make that clear too, so.
and if we do grant it, I'd like you to just coordinate with Jen when you do have your place on Hadley, when the plumber comes to take a look at it. Yes, it's working, no, it's not working, what actions you're gonna take. And I'm assuming Hadley, Dad's, it's the same hot dog machine there?
Yeah.
yes,
So it's the same
Exactly
exact
the
setup,
same.
nothing's different?
Nothing's different.
Okay, but you do have a grease trap, so
Yeah,
my suggestion would be is if you have it, just make it work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just make it work. And
That's-
just coordinate with that Jen, so she knows, she just has that on record, that you had XYZ plumber coming, you know, next month, 2 months, whatever it may be,
no.
okay?
Yeah, I'm constantly
Yep,
Yes.
talking to
yep,
Jen
yep.
about the issues and all that.
Yeah, we've been coordinating on both establishments since our letter went out in January explaining that anyone who does not currently have a grease trap needs to come in compliance in one of two ways. So you got the same letter
Yeah.
for both establishments, and then we've been working together on both. You know, obviously you're here specifically for this one today. I reached out to both the DPW director and the head of the sewer department, and given that they haven't had issues in this part of town, the small quantity of grease, and particularly now with the knowledge that your hot dog machine is not submersible, they do not have any concerns with granting a variance, with the caveat that if anything changes, whether it be your menu, your procedures, or
Or if there
any
is an
issues
issue
up
with it,
there,
yeah.
you know, it certainly could be reviewed and/or revoked at any time. So those were the discussions that I had with both the DPW director and the head of the sewer department in particular.
I agree with that. It's
Yeah.
to protect the infrastructure, but if the infrastructure is not being hurt, then we don't want to take action, I don't want to, you know, jeopardize your business in any way, but
Yeah.
we have to protect the town. That goes beyond that and public health.
Yeah.
But,
All right, so, if that's it, Jennifer, Russell?
yeah,
So,
Douglas is gonna make the motion.
Suggest a motion in granting variance. Move to approve the variance request for installation of grease trap at Ronnie Schoen's General Store as requested by representatives of the establishment. The variance allows the operation of the establishment without installing grease trap based on current conditions and operations. This establishment is serviced by the public sewer system. The variance is granted. However, it can be reviewed, modified, or revoked by the Board of Health at any time in the future. And again, more of that is too if you change menu items,
Yep.
Yes.
and/or if we
Okay.
feel or see that there is issues from the,
because that's the third time we've repeated it. So we just want it open and clear,
Yeah.
crystal clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
And just whenever you have that, the other place,
Yeah.
just coordinate with
Yeah,
her,
I have
so she knows
the-
everything's working, or whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah, I'm
Take care
gonna
of
make that paperwork ready, whatever she's
Okay.
required for the other place.
Okay,
And I'll
appreciate it.
submit it to her.
And likewise, I'll be sending you a letter confirming what just happened tonight so that you have it for your files as well as ours.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up on the agenda is discuss fats, oils, and grease regulations variance request from Pete's Mediterranean Fresh. And I'll ask you the same thing I asked them, if you could just state your name and everything, so we have it on record of who you are.
I'm Gregory Bacoris, manager of Pete's Mediterranean Fresh.
So, you are requesting a variance as well, correct?
Correct.
And nothing has changed since, actually, so you just wrote this recently. Nothing has changed since this. Now, I personally, I do go in there, and I do notice that there are some things that do use grease. And now I know what you're doing here. You know, I see specials that use grease, I see some bacon that uses grease, I see, what was it, the Greek shepherd's pie I saw as a special last week. Obviously, the hamburger on that produces oil and grease and so on and so forth. So that is where depending on how much of those menu items you are producing, that is where or our, as the Board of Health, issue comes into with the amount of grease that you are producing with those certain menu items, pendant on your specials and so on and so forth. And the menu so your menu has changed significantly from when you first opened a year ago to as now.
A little, but it's the same, it's an extension of the same type of salads, like where I didn't have chickpea salad listed before, I got chickpea salad now.
Okay.
There are different sandwiches that go on a, panini press.
Right.
But it's not anything else that goes down the drain.
Right.
And it's the same thing as, I've been in the food business all my life, and I get in a small restaurant, when we clean our pans, like you cook the hamburger, like you said, for the shepherd's pie, that pan gets scraped with the spatula, just like I said, before it ever hits the sink. I'm not here I don't want to bring the plumber in, I don't want a clogged drain, I don't want anything.
Right.
So and I wouldn't be here trying to pull the wool over your eyes saying I don't use grease. You can walk in anytime you want into the kitchen and
Right.
check it out. You won't see grease in the sink.
Okay. Jen? Yep.
So I have a question. In your description to the board, you indicated that you use 2 quarts of oil per week to fry falafel in the pan, and then after that it's put in the same containers and sent to the transfer station to be recycled.
I bring it to Hingham.
Okay. And they accept cooking oil grease from out of town on a regular basis?
I live there.
I ask because there's no recycling program of such.
I thought Scituate took motor oil.
Right, they take motor oil, but that's very different from cooking oil.
They don't
They should not be mixed, no.
Yeah, because that's true. It's diesel fuel.
I specifically asked both the DPW director and the person in charge of the transfer station, and they indicated that cooking oil should not be put into the waste oil.
Then I'll have to check with Hingham because it's basically motor oil. And I thought the same thing where they're selling this to diesel companies.
Well, so typically what happens here is that any used oil from fry leaders or woks in town are stored in containers, and they are specifically picked up for recycling from one of a number of companies that come in to each establishment.
I'd be happy to, I could talk to Mike at Rivas. I'm sure he'd say I can bring my oil across the street. If they'd like me to do that, if that's better.
I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't inadvertently going into the Scituate.
Yeah, if it's not going to our transfer station, bring it to
It's
Hingham.
entirely up to you
No, but
what you do.
But evidently, from what you're saying, I would think towns agree with each other, and they'd say, don't put food oil, and I just,
Sometimes they do, sometimes
Yeah,
they
but I don't know, I
don't.
can't speak to
Sean, would you
them.
like to add something?
I could,
No, if I could, it's something, if we could, look and ask Al and Kevin, maybe it's something we should look into. There's probably some value there, maybe not today or tomorrow, but down the road. If we had a separate tank, Jen, to your point, and I could see not mixing, but a separate tank, and encourage people from doing just what this gentleman's doing. Bring it down and, but don't charge, and gee, someone might come in and, who knows, maybe.
Yeah, how do you stick a fee?
Yeah, a sticker, and then come in and dispose of it for free like you can with your crankcase oil, but then someone comes out and they recycle the product.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think recycling is a fantastic idea for many reasons. It keeps it from going down the drain, so that people have, a good means of disposing of it safely for both.
Easy for them to dispose of.
Yeah, no, I can certainly certainly talk to Kevin about that and see what other towns in our recycling co-op do to address cooking oil. And yeah, we can make it easier and beneficial for all, for sure I can.
In the meantime, if it's all right, I'll talk to, like I said, Mike over at Reva's and ask him if I could just bring it across the street.
The only thing that makes me nervous about this variance is, I know you've come in before and with the menu and everything, and I just have to stress that, Andy says he's seen bacon and other stuff, I hate to see that continue further into your menu, using it more, it's just,
The bacon, honestly, we had one day, it was a bacon avocado panini, and
How about the bacon soaked lemon potatoes, though? Yes.
you got a fan of
That Pete was trying out.
But that part of town, we had,
He was trying out,
Yeah.
because he gave it to me, a little thing, and it was bacon-infused potatoes.
he must have did it the day it wasn't there, but that's...
my point is in that part of town, there are issues with the sewer, and they're known issues.
Right.
And other establishments, with the argument of cost, have been ordered to put in systems. I know when you first came in a few months ago, which we were very happy that you came in and addressed us, the menu, as you said, was basically vegetables and stuff, so I just don't want to see that menu change, because as with the last variance, if this gets granted, it's the same thing, it can be revoked at any time. I just,
What if I
I
can't
want to be crystal clear with you.
I get it. No, I understand.
Again, as I said to the other people, we're not here to hurt businesses.
Right.
We're not here to overtax somebody or make somebody do something that's unnecessary. But in the same thing, we're protecting that infrastructure, and that's the bottom line. We have a backup, it goes back up into people's houses, it's a health issue, it's a nightmare that none of us want to see, just because somebody's trying to save a couple of bucks.
No.
So my point is, as you said, my menu is vegetables and this and that, and salads, that's fine, it doesn't create grease. I just hate to see that menu change.
How is the chicken prepared? The same,
That's the Greek.
It's baked in the oven.
it's baked in the oven?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's tin foil and wrapped up and thrown
And
away.
then thrown
And
away.
I get that, you see where I'm going?
Yeah, I do. I do.
If
What
we
about
have
the
a problem, we're gonna come back and revisit it.
What about the lamb, the ground lamb, pork?
It's baked in the oven.
So everything's on aluminum? And
We
then-
don't have any, we're limited to what we can have for cooking equipment, which is good in a way. So everything is, we have pans, we have disposable pans, and
Right.
that's what we do. I'd be willing or happy to, I don't care whether you'd want it quarterly or twice a year or whatever, to bring in, I can stop by the health department and just drop off the menus. And anytime anybody can come in to see.
Oh, obviously, yeah,
You know?
but just it's your good faith, and I mean, that's generous too, I just want to be crystal clear about that's why we're here, that's why we're discussing this, and again, I'm repeating.
And Front Street's had its fair share of problems,
Yeah.
as recently as New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
As recently as New Year's Eve. An establishment down the street from you, it wasn't you, but they had a significant problem.
And it's business, it doesn't matter who it is, it's the business and it's the food, it doesn't matter the person, it's strictly,
Yep.
it's the grease. We want to eliminate the grease from the sewer lines.
Well, you're not saying things over and over again for nothing, I get it. And it is a variance, so if I get it, I'm lucky, and that's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
And I live by the letter of the law. And like I said, I don't care. I'll come in 4 times a year with the menu, and just say, here's the menu this is what we're selling.
Well, hopefully one of us throughout this year will be coming in to patronize
And
business.
you'll see what's coming.
And support our local business, so, keep an eye on things that way too, so.
I can guarantee you wouldn't see another piece of bacon in there.
Yeah.
I don't, the bacon potatoes is
I
kind of
just hate to stress
honestly,
on
it was
that
just-
one, but bacon is grease.
It's just, and then I saw like I said, I saw the shepherd, the Greek shepherd's pie the other night.
Yep.
We've all had shepherd's pie, we know how a hamburger is made. It produces a lot of grease, a lot of fat, a lot
Yep.
of oil. It just does, it just does. Even the stuff that's, the lean still produces a lot of it, so, and you probably.
all I can say is it doesn't go down the sink. That's the,
Right.
that's,
Right, well, that's what we're trying to prevent here, that's what we're trying to prevent.
So,
I-
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so similar to the previous request, I also reached out to the director of DPW as well as the head of the sewer department on this request as well. And I was reminded that there have been 3 backups on Front Street in 3 months. So, you know, the incremental addition of grease to the sewer lines is still somehow creating issues. There's not one business on Front Street right now, to the best of my knowledge, that does not have a grease trap. And there are still 3 backups in 3 months on Front Street, according to the sewer department. So, you know, there are obviously other things that we need to do in terms of checking on compliance with use of those, but Front Street is still experiencing significant sewer issues, you know, in the last 3 months. So both the sewer department and the DPW director have concerns about granting the variance in this part of town.
Well, with that said, I'm going to stress on, if the other board members agree to grant the variance, to keep an eye on that menu. If the variance is granted.
Doug, you want to add anything?
I mean, I go with what, you know, the town's saying. I mean, I've been in the restaurant business, and I just find it hard that we get, and I know, and I don't deal with your menu, but 2 quarts of oil a week. I mean, I find that hard to believe with what I'm looking here and cooking, and I also know dealing with, I doubt you.
I go through a lot more than 2 quarts of oil a week, but it also says in the letter, excuse, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Right.
but it also says in the letter, well, most of that grease goes out, or oil, turns into salad dressing,
Right.
which goes, it's not going down the drain, it's going out the door.
Okay. But I also know dealing with, I mean, I don't know who does all your washing of the pans. So you're telling me when you cook lamb or...
I do a lot.
When you cook lamb or ground beef or pork, it's on aluminum. The
Some of it's on some of it's a
taken off
disposable
and-
pan, some of it's on
Okay.
aluminum, some of it's on the pan, and like I said, this, you know what the silicone spatulas are, to scrape out the pan before it goes anywhere near the sink.
Right, but I also know kids.
I don't have
that-
kids.
I also know adults.
Okay.
That will go, because they don't want to sit there and go. I just, I know, been in the business for 30 years, there's grease. So, I mean, and I know where the harbor's been too with backups, so, I don't know.
You're in a tough area.
And then, of course, what do you get when people know that, and this is my opinion, denied, and given the approval of variance, then they all stop pointing fingers. Well, the backup, well, it's because he doesn't have a grease trap and I had to go. That's where I'm tough right now on that.
I'm sure you can understand that.
At the same time, I think it's as important what the back of the house looks like as the front of the house, and I'd rather have somebody come in and walk around and actually see what's going on there.
Well, I know Nellie does, so Nellie would tell us.
We got a smile face the past 2 times she's been in there,
Well,
and she's bought food the
Yeah,
past
well,
2
that's,
times.
and then,
So-
that speaks volumes, so there you go. That's a ringing endorsement right there.
If you'd like, Pete can send you the picture.
That being said, you know, Douglas does have a valid point. You know, that there have been 3 backups in the past few months, and that the finger pointing would definitely come your way and increase if it happens again, and you are the common denominator without a grease trap, depending on where that backup is. So, you know, it's a tough situation, Mr. Vicaris. It's a tough situation for us to try and pass this. I know which way I'm leaning. You ready to vote?
I'm on the fence.
Yeah, I honestly, I think you do a stand-up job. Obviously, Nellie thinks you do a stand-up job. I am a customer. I ultimately might even help you pay for with all my business, help you pay for the grease trap. But I just can't, it's a hard sell for us to give you this variance when every other person on Front Street has to. And when I say everybody, other people, I'm going from a place that has 6 friolators to a place that just sells juice to something in the middle that's just frozen yogurt. And you know where I'm going from the whole spectrum, and they all have to abide by it. So, especially since you were new construction as well within the past year, you know, you knew that this might be coming down the road. So that's the way I feel, is that I think it's tough, at least personally for me, to give you the variance and you be the only one on the street without it, especially when you were new construction. And for the mere fact that we've had 3 backups in the past few months. And I'm not saying they're caused by you, because I don't know if there has been a cause, if the cause has been found yet, or was found.
Yeah, for a couple of them, it has certainly been narrowed down to the potential.
To an intersection of where.
Right.
Right. So that's the way I'm leaning. Anybody else want to say anything?
No. I think you're right, you said some points, and it's a tough area.
It's tough, especially like I said, because you're new construction, you knew this was coming down the pike. And some of the other establishments who have been there for a long time, you know, we've brought them up to code and made them comply because of the issues down on Front Street. That and again, I don't want to say I feel bad doing it, but it's just, you know, to make everybody on an equal plane, that if something does happen 2 months from now, 3 months now, the busy season of the summer, when everybody's business is increased, that their finger pointing can't happen, and we can go back to the town and the town say, this is where it is, and we can try and reconstruct it from there. But at least you'll know, and you'll sleep better, and I'll sleep better at night knowing that it's not your place.
I'm not worried about it. All right, I appreciate it.
That's just the way, that's the way I feel. I mean, that's the way I feel. These two, we're gonna vote on it. These two have their own opinions. But I think that's where I stand.
Well, if you need to vote, you can vote.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna say,
Well, no, we're gonna vote. We have to vote. We're gonna vote. Does anybody else want to?
Is there any other topics?
No, is anybody, Jen, you all good?
Yeah, I provided the information that I
Would the
required.
standing selectmen like to add to this at all?
Well, thanks, I think you've done a good job explaining all the points.
All right.
Just, is there, no, I'll ask you later on.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So it's just motion in denying variance. Move to deny the variance request for installation of grease trap to Pete's Mediterranean Fresh as requested by representative for the establishment. Denial is based on current conditions, operations, and food served by the establishment. In addition, the establishment is served by the public sewer system located on Front Street, which has experienced multiple grease blockages in several months.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We appreciate your understanding.
okay,
Now,
thanks.
well, hold 1 second. What's the timeline for getting this fixed? Installing.
Well, Jen and I talked about it today. What kind of,
Just so we're all on the same page.
you've already had an estimate, I take it, by the letter that you submitted? Do we have to add that to the motion, or we just give them just a guideline?
Yeah, you can give them a guideline,
I think
and
the
I can
guideline's
follow it
fine.
up and
You wanna know what?
communicate moving forward.
Let's just say 45 to 60 days, just communicate with her, and just have the plumber come in. Well, the plumber will come and do everything anyway, just so we know that you do have it in there.
Sure.
Before the busy season.
He does a lot, he's in here a lot.
Yeah.
Okay,
I appreciate it, thank you again. Thank you for your
Thanks.
understanding,
Take it easy.
thank you. All right, item number 4 on our agenda, discussion, 101 Booth Hill Road, septic system failure. Jen, that was all you.
Yep, So I just wanted to bring you up to speed on a particular septic system that's been in failure for quite some time. The previous director had spent quite a bit of effort and time reaching out to the current owners, occupants, and the bank at one point as recently as 2013 and early 2014, once the system was recognized to be in failure. It's a cesspool. It had been discharging to the ground surface. There are 2 houses on either side. There's a wetland in the back. So when I started, I picked up efforts on the house, not only with the septic system, but with the internal and external conditions of the house. The bank is looking to sell the property now. They are planning to put it on the market. Their realtor has inquired about what they need to do in order to sell it. So I've had a couple of conversations with DEP about some various solutions that would allow them to sell the property, to allow for improvement on the neighborhood, yet at the same time not threaten public health. So the current thinking on the strategy for this is the bank is not required to fix the system prior to sale. So they can sell it with a failed system. But that we have the authority to limit occupancy.
I thought that wasn't allowed.
So,
You can sell a house without a septic. It's the bank that's loaning you the money isn't gonna loan you the money with a failed system.
Right.
You pay cash,
Right.
do whatever you
Doesn't
want.
matter.
right, right, and my expectation is that, this house is gonna be auctioned off at a,
Reduced.
lower than, expected dollar value for the neighborhood because of its current condition, at least as a starting point. So they can sell it without improving the septic system. So the current thought process is giving them one of 2 options. First, regardless, they have to disclose that the system is in failure and that the system needs to be repaired or brought into temporary compliance until, prior to occupancy. And they can do that in a couple of ways. They can install a larger tank and fit it so that it is a tight tank for temporary occupancy while they work with an engineer to design a compliant system, ideally with a tank in a field. Or that we prevent occupancy until the system is brought in compliance. So they can do one of 2 things: take temporary measures to make it livable with the appropriate pumping schedule, etc., or, that we stipulate it can't be occupied until brought into compliance. So they have 2 options with it. They can sell the property and move it forward. So that's the update on that.
So 101 Booth Hill, can you just give me a landmark? Is that this side of 3A, is that?
So if you're heading north on 3A, you take a left onto Booth Hill Road. It's on the left-hand side. It's a very bright blue house. There was a lot of trash outside at one point.
Trudy's Lane on the right-hand side?
Yep, right across from Trudy's Lane.
No.
So I've been working with the bank
And what bank is it?
pretty consistently. It's a division of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They've gone through a couple of entities and realtors and contact points, but it's a division of Fannie Mae. So it's been a long process, but I think they're coming close to finally putting it on the market and getting it ready, so.
How long's the house sat vacant, you think?
It has sat vacant for approximately 8 months, maybe.
Oh, it's not.
It was in foreclosure. It was being occupied. The bank was working on an eviction notice, so they weren't really able to do anything that we had been requesting until their legal aspects had been completed and the home was vacant. So the home was vacated, I think, the end of last summer, beginning of the fall. Then they worked on the exterior conditions, bringing them up into compliance. They wound up cleaning out the house over a 1-week period of time.
Okay.
And now the last piece is the septic system.
Right.
So-
Yeah, so once we see it sold, then
Yeah, right.
kind of get in touch with the new owner and say, we're going to have an occupancy permit.
Right.
Well, that's the thing, so we don't issue occupancy permits upon home sales. So the idea would be that we issue a superseding order to the orders that Jennifer Sullivan had previously issued to the bank on record at the time, so that it's on record with us that they must either have temporary compliance or not occupy prior to bringing the system into compliance. And that way, if in fact there's an occupation of the house, we have the ability to come in and if necessary start the condemnation process, because everybody's been notified. They would have had to disclose that the system's in failure, and they would have to disclose this requirement.
Sure.
Is that something, just curiosity, is that something that can go on record at the Registry of Deeds? Is that, a little form, because when somebody does the title search, hey, red flag, your house isn't condemned, but it's, that's a great tool. That's a great tool, because you throw that on and any title examiner is gonna, it's in your chain of record.
Yeah, I didn't specifically ask that question, of DEP, nor did she.
I just think of that in the future, because, it's great that you're seeing these and going after them, because again, there's not too many people that can buy houses with cash, so to say, and kind of go under the radar.
Right. That's a good point.
But especially with this being bank-owned, it's not like it's an inside deal where, the old days was transferred on a napkin down that bottle.
To Russell's point, this board needs assurance that that's gonna happen. So again, to your point, if it's on the Registry of Deeds, then there's no way, even intentionally or unintentionally, that could, get by. And if someone goes in, pays cash, so they don't have to do a Title V, for whatever reason, they might think they might not be familiar with Title V. They could be from another part of the country.
Right.
They move in. Now what do? You're trying to get them moved out now, and that's kind of like the horse is already out of the barn.
And it lets everybody well aware, because even if you're paying cash, you haven't chain of title done, just to make sure there's no back taxes and no
Liens and things like that,
liens and
that's
stuff.
it, right.
Exactly.
You need something that should have some teeth, I think.
Well, and I can certainly check the person who I've been contacting specifically about this house, knowing that there are other houses right in line with this in the same situation. She and I were kind of brainstorming some big picture ideas for this house specifically, but for others moving forward. So I can certainly follow up and talk to her about that.
I have some connections down the registry. I'll ask if any other towns do that.
Okay.
I do.
Sure. No, that'd be great, and I can check with DEP on that. She, like I said, I didn't ask and she didn't.
So when is this gonna go to auction? How quick is this happening? When does this go on auction?
I'm not sure if they're actually putting it up for auction. They want to put it on the market. So they briefly put it on the market last, I think, November with another realtor. It was on the market for $135 because I saw it on MLS. And started to inquire, and that precipitated a whole bunch of correspondences between myself and the bank. And now they pulled it off for whatever reason, and now they want to put it on, and there has been some interest. We've had some folks asking about it. So I can certainly check into DEP about, whether this is done at the registry.
Right.
But by us requiring, if that's not the case, by us requiring that they legally disclose, the realtor is required to disclose, and anybody who purchases the home is required to comply with the disclosure notice. So, yes, it would be very difficult, somebody moves in, we would have to start the condemnation process on somebody who just bought the house. But
That's kind of why I asked you how long it's been vacant, because it's been vacant a while, and they're gonna have to come in for a building permit, which is gonna trigger the whole,
and more than
everybody signs off on it, which is a great thing.
That is great.
It keeps everybody in check, but
And my-
8 months could still be turnkey if they winterized it.
Well, so the work that had been done, not only to the exterior, but the interior, was done by a biohazard team. So I suspect that there's going to be some renovation
somewhere, yeah.
requirement. I
Biohazard team, that sounds like that should be disclosed. That just doesn't sound good.
I'm using the.
If I want to buy a house that,
Men's in white suits and boots.
cleaning and spraying, whatever, holy mackerel.
So there was a large quantity of items left inside, including trash and debris. So the bank, once they got inside, again, all through correspondences, the bank, once they got inside, felt it imperative, for their own requirements to clean it, not only clean it out physically, but then truly clean it.
They have to sell it. They got it. But once again, Jen, you're on top of your game, and
Yeah.
Yep, very good, Jen.
I thank you, and
Yep,
town thanks you as well.
yep.
And
Due diligence.
and hopefully, through the actions, the bank's been very good to work with. They have been asking a lot of questions, trying to go about things the right way. They've been letting me know each step along the way. So they're being very consistent by trying to ask the right questions and what they need to do to properly sell this house. So
Sure.
I hope and foresee, good things, for this house in the not too distant future.
I think we got a topic brought up here too, with a form of that nature for Title V, things that we know are in failure or haven't had a
Yeah, has to
permit
go-
issue.
chain of custody has to go.
Yes, something to put on record, and in the same sense, when we create that document, you need the other one that takes it off, so it's not lingering.
Right.
That it can be immediately filed down at the registry that was taken care of.
Right, that's a good idea.
But I think you're onto something there.
Yeah, I can check. I can
Good
check the
people in.
DEP about that and the registry as well.
Yeah. I got my people there.
All right, that's very helpful.
All right, next up, discussion of the Dana-Farber mammography van. And I know that I've seen stuff advertised everywhere, and I'm guessing that every single time slot is filled already.
No, that's why we're here, reminding folks.
Really?
Hoping that, hoping folks are, busy and they're gonna kind of get a spot last minute. So just kind of wanted to reiterate that, our department, with great efforts by Eileen Scotty, our public health nurse, is hosting a mobile mammogram van in the town. It's going to be here on Thursday, April 7th, 2016. It's going to be located at Central Park, 67 Branch Street, from 8 to 3:30. The current guidance from Dana-Farber is that it's going to take anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes for your appointment between check-in, the actual mammogram, and the follow-up exit information. The work is being conducted by Dana-Farber techs, the radiologists, all of the folks that come from their program are going to be here. They are licensed by the Department of Public Health through the state, and any questions in terms of eligibility, insurance requirements, etc., are through Dana-Farber, and their number is 617-632-1974. And we've had some really great assistance by Scituate Community TV. They have done a pair of PSAs for us to have both on community television itself as well as their YouTube channel, helping us get the word out on this very important issue for women 40 years and older, I believe is the eligible age. Any questions that we can help answer, certainly.
Is it on the Board of Health or the town's website?
It is. It's on our website. John Roser from Community TV showed me that they have 2 recent PSAs, which we can link up tomorrow to our website to kind of keep the information fresh.
How many openings are left, do we know?
As of last week, there were 7 slots filled, and there are 40 available slots.
40.
Yeah, so we can reach a lot of women in a
Yes,
short period of time.
Absolutely. With 2 weeks left.
Right, with 2 weeks left, so we're hoping that this is successful. There are flyers everywhere. Any questions, come to us and ask us. So I just
There are
wanted
flyers
to,
everywhere.
there are flyers everywhere, so
Yeah.
we're hoping that women take advantage of this. Lives are busy. It's a great way to do it without having to go far.
Now, I'm quite sure there's more people that watch their meetings than watch our meetings, so maybe they should have that, maybe they should have that on their agenda if you already haven't.
Nope, no, I'll mention it certainly on the business of our last, Tony, if we can do it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Could you give me the dates again, because I didn't have anything to write it down? Thank you.
Sure. The flyer is attached.
Yep.
Excellent. I'm quite
Great,
sure.
thank you.
More people watch them than watch us.
So,
No, that'd be a great help. 'Cause we really want it to be successful, and if it's successful this year, we'll be able to bring it back in years coming, rather than have it go somewhere else.
Absolutely, yeah. If we've got it here, let's keep it here every year, so I hope people take advantage of it. Okay, next up, other business, administrative invoice approvals. Do you have any invoices for?
I sure
Can we
do.
sign them?
Yep.
All right. And meeting minutes?
Yep.
All right. And Jen, is there anything else in other
Sign
business
these,
you'd
right?
like to,
No, you just have to let me know that they're okay.
are those the ones you read, are those the ones you emailed to us?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they look pretty good to me
Good.
from my quick scan.
They look good to me when I read them.
Yeah. If there was one in here, I might not have been present, so. And that was that one, February 29th. Okay.
Add to our pile.
Yep, right, all right. I was requested on the other business. I was requested on Friday by John Clarkson, the chair of the Water Resources Committee, to provide you with a copy of a memorandum. So I sent it to you by email for your review and input, and then I have 3 copies, one for each of you, in case you haven't seen the email yet. So
Oh, good.
pass that along so you have it and can respond.
Okay. And
Send one to each of you. And this one for you.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Will we vote on the minutes
oh, yes,
Please.
before we adjourn?
yes, yep.
Take that motion back.
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry.
what's that?
You want to make a motion?
I can make a motion on 2 of them. I just need the dates. Make a motion to accept the minute meetings of February 17th, 2016, and October 14th, 2015.
And you can make a motion for the others.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we got to vote on the 29th.
Right.
I wasn't here.
That was 2 weeks ago.
And make a motion on February 29th,
Accepted.
accept the minutes on that agenda.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Close the meeting.
Sure this time?
I'm sure this time.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.